Hey, what's up everyone? Today we're going to be playing Green-Red Devotion, as you can see at the bottom of the screen. And we won the die roll for round 1, which is great. And the hand's a little slow and clunky. We have our main deck Ugin that we do not know if it'll be good or not. But if we draw one more piece of acceleration, we get to play Whisperwood on turn 3, which is great. And it's really difficult to not keep Elvish Mystic draws. So I can see this hand being exploited pretty easily by just a removal spell, especially since we don't have a Courser. But hopefully everything goes alright. We'll be cracking this Wooded Foothills to go get a forest, and yes, if we could randomly draw Courser into Xenagos and not be able to cast it, but I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't argue with that. So turn 1 island. What does turn 1 island mean? Turn 1 island doesn't really happen much. So we'll gain our 1 life, and we'll attack. I guess this could arguably be the Devotion deck, which would be a great matchup. Okay, it's just Esper without any tap lands. I was thinking about that, but didn't seem likely. So this start... Alright, so not the best place to be. Hopefully we draw a replacement for Pelucanos, but I'm assuming our opponent's going to take that. I mean, Whisperwood's a threat. It depends on how much counteraction our opponent has, and they probably don't have much. Alright, so our opponent's still thinking on the Thoughtseize. Alright, yep, takes our tempo play. Replacement Pelucanos. That is perfect. Woo! Man. Ugh. Son of Vader, you are not having a good day, because that is the perfect draw. Our opponent had the second Caves to downfall it? No, but then we have the Whisperwood. This is just great. Oh, it's an Ashiok? That's not that good. Alright, so what is it? Pelucanos and a Genesis Hydra? So I'm pretty sure we're just going to attack that so it can't put the Pelucanos into play. And yeah, because we only have 5, 6, 7 mana. We can't Ugin. And since we can't kill the Ashiok, I'd rather just attack it for 2 and keep the pressure on our opponent, because we do have lethal on our opponent next turn. So unlucky that we didn't hit anything on our Whisperwood. So Ashiok ticks up, hits Elvish Mystic Courser. Alright, so that has to be lethal, right? Yeah, that's exactly lethal. So we just make a Satyr. Make a Xenagos. That one. Make another Satyr and just attack our opponent, and our opponent can go to 1 life. I guess our opponent could have Dragon. Oh, and they just conceded. Alright, so let's get to game 2. Alright, so cards that we do not want. Ugin's at its worst in this matchup. Same with Sylvan Caryatid. We can't cut all of them, but we want to take out a few. And we're going to bring in 2 Nissas and an Arbor Colossus. An Arbor Colossus isn't that great, but we don't want to flood on our ramp ever in the matchup. And since our opponent does have Crux of Fate, maybe we're supposed to. Maybe this version has to keep in 1 extra character, but I do want to cut 1 since they're the weakest. But Hornet Queen's pretty bad. I guess we'll try this. I mean, the matchup's awful. We just have to hope our opponent draws terribly, or we just luck sack them. That's usually how Esper Dragons goes for Devotion. It's one of the worst matchups you can have with the deck. Not the strongest, but we do have 2 Genesis Hydras, and if this game goes real long, they're going to have a lot of value. So we'll keep and hope we draw a lot of lands and our opponent doesn't draw a lot of disruption. In the early game, at least. Like, we want a Rattleclaw to live so we can Courser and maybe get an extra land off our Courser. Alright. That's not the top deck we wanted. Man, this deck is just so bad in this matchup. Alright, so our opponent's threatening Solumgar Scorn. And we have our 1 mountain. Alright, we will not be able to pay that 1 mana or cast spells if we don't start to draw any lands. Alright, let's see where this is going. Bottom. So our opponent must be digging for black sources and had to sacrifice 1 of them to cast a spell. That's a great top deck. We're going to bottom the Rattleclaw. Even though it is mana and can produce it, it takes a turn to do so, and we want our best chance of drawing actual lands. Anticipate is decent. This should allow our opponent to play a land for the turn that produces black and digs closer to having the mana for Dig Through Time. So our opponent's taking a really long time with this Anticipate, which gives me the gut feeling that our opponent's hand does not have a black source and is very threat heavy. So maybe has 2 Ojutais in a Dig Through Time or something of that nature, and maybe like 1 black removal spell. That could be a Downfall or a Foul Tongue or something like that. But, you know, looking at the context of the game, if an Anticipate takes this long, unless, you know, he ordered pizza and is paying the delivery man right now, he's probably having a tough time figuring out whether to take the mana source he might need for future turns or a way to interact with me next turn. So if our opponent does not play a black source this turn, it's probably what happened is took the Dissolve or Disdainful Stroke or something of that nature, and if it does, yeah. So I feel like this is what they took off Anticipate, or maybe a Thoughtseize, so we're going to get Thoughtseize right now. Oh, we're not. Ashiok, okay. No, what? Main phase dig? What? What does it cost 4 mana? Why is our opponent just main phase digging? Tazagar? Tazagar. Alright, that's arguably fine. Land. We're in so much trouble. Yes, please Thoughtseize me as much as you want because we are so far behind. Also, this makes any Tazagor activations very easy. We'll just keep giving them Thoughtseize, and you can keep casting them. Because I do not see us ever getting to a position in this game where we cast all of these spells anyway. Alright, so Xenagos is down. Tazagor comes on in. And now our opponent most likely has a removal spell for this, but is going to take a look at the top of our library. Nope. Doesn't have removal, but still doesn't get punished. Let's attack. And play a 1/1 Genesis Hydra. Now what this is going to do is it's going to give us a 1/1 body that could potentially help us with Devotion, but most importantly we're going to get another crack at the top of our library. Alright, shuffle land. Yes. Alright, so we hit a land. Let's put that other Genesis Hydra on the bottom of our library. And Whisperwood. Alright, activates Tazagor, gets another Thoughtseize. Hopefully this isn't a Dragonlord Slumgar. Because if it is, we're just probably dead. Maybe we're supposed to take out another Caryatid. I mean, I know we're getting stuck on lands, which makes it seem like we should have all of our cards. Or maybe they're better on the play. Alright, yeah, keep Thoughtseizing. You're going to grind me out 2 life at a time. Alright, pumping the brakes on 3 damage. Is this Ojutai time? Nope. Alright, that's actually not bad. I mean, we might still get Wrath out, but we're guaranteed to hit on this Genesis Hydra. I mean, these are the kind of cards that we want to hit for like 8 mana, but gotta do what you gotta do. And our hand is quite powerful. Lots of bomb rares. Alright, so countering the Genesis Hydra. But we do get a Rattleclaw. And we get a Nykthos. But another Nykthos. But that's alright. That means we can at least play spells next turn. It seems like our opponent's probably quite flooded. So what do we give our opponent next turn, or this turn, if they activate Tazagor? Don't want to be Anticipate. Oh, with the Flood is Trend, if this is stock Esper Dragons, that Flood is Trend actually doesn't produce mana. It must not be stock. Alright, it is stock. And I know his deck list better than he does. Alright, there's the Ojutai. With one card in hand, we are going to play the biggest of the Dragonlords, the hungriest, the meanest, the baddest. Dragonlord Atarka, and kill that Taziger. This is going to protect us from Crux of Fate in some way. So we'll have Green Devotion, play our Dragonlord. And pass the turn. Now if our... Okay. I do not know what he is going to do, but I'm hoping the Force is a part of it. What? Couldn't our opponent gotten a card out of that deal? Alright, so we can produce 5. 3, 8, 9, 10, 11, which is enough to do this. So I guess we try to do that. Green, 5. Arbor Colossus. We'll keep that one. And now that we Legend rolled and we got Arbor Colossus into play, now we add green, and now we have 8 in our pool. And we'll use that to Monstrous Arbor Colossus, killing Ojutai. And we are 1 short of doing anything else with our mana, but we can attack for 5. Alright. Crux of Fate could deal with our team. I mean, the extra card off the Ojutai might have helped keep the Arbor Colossus from coming into playing Monster Scene in the first place. But I'm not too sad about our position, especially since the screen says I have 1 now. Alright, so let's see how we can do in round 2.